The video starts when I tell it to, and you guys need to figure out why. Hey everybody, we are back with another fun challenge today. I know it has been quite a while, about a month since my last video, but life sometimes just gets caught up with you and things happen. So we are back now though, and this is going to be an interesting one. So essentially, I'm going to decide the challenge in terms of what's going to start and pause the video. And you guys are going to try to figure out why it's happening and what the actual condition is. It's not going to be anything super tricky, it's not going to be super niche or anything. It's going to be pretty simple. I will say it can happen in any of the game modes, so you don't have to worry about it being specific to one. Although it could be related to one game mode that can happen in all the others. I'm just gonna leave it at that. So you guys are gonna try to figure out why it's starting and stopping, and let's just see how this goes. I'll likely drop some hints here and there, so that way you have some clue of what's going on as the challenge goes on. Because I know it can be kind of tricky to be able to guess what the condition is. And this first one, we got a banger going here. It's gonna be pretty interesting. Maybe I'm a little rusty at this point. And it's only been a month though since I've really done a lot, but I'm all good. Ooh, okay. So the new Mario Party just released last week, and I've got to say I've played it a bit. It's pretty interesting. Certainly not exactly what I was expecting, but it's interesting. I kind of wish that there wasn't motion controls that are only bound to the Joy-Con. Or I don't know, because you can play with the Pro Controller or a full set of Joy-Cons normally, but then you can't play the motion control games, and then it'll change what it's doing. And I don't know, it's just kind of interesting. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of that, but it's okay. It is way better than the past few games for so far though. I would say Super Mario Party was a good start. What the heck is all these Koopas? They just keep spawning. Anyways, I'd say that this one is better than the last two games. I think Super Mario Party was, it was Super Mario Party. It wasn't bad, but it certainly was not a good direction for a Mario Party game. And then there was Mario Party Superstars, which was, again, another good direction. But then it was just, they didn't update it at all. They definitely had potential to update it more, and they didn't. But this one, there's 7 boards. There's a multiplayer mode, and, it seems pretty decent so far. I'm personally a fan of when multiplayer modes have... I'm personally a fan of when single-player modes have the, actually a story mode that you can play along the boards. And so, you technically play on the boards, but they're not... You don't get to actually play the boards. Like Mario Party 9, as much as that game is hated by people, I like this story mode on that one because you actually got to play through all the boards as part of the story mode. And that's honestly how it was on Mario Party DS too. I think Mario Party 8, all the older Mario Parties, usually the story mode for one player was always you got to play the boards, actually learn the boards, and this kind of has that, but you don't actually get to play the boards. It's still good, it's still cool. It's not very long for sure, but it's pretty interesting. I do have to tell this insane story that happened in the game I was playing with my friends the other day. It was crazy. We were playing, and it was just crazy because it was me and some friends, one of them being PB the Best, which you've seen on this channel a bit. We were playing, and so I was doing not great, and then I ended up getting 2 stars near the end. It was pretty nice. And, I ended up, making it pretty good. There were some other people ahead of me still. But I was doing decent. And so, then my PB the Best, my friend, he was playing, and it was just absolutely crazy because he was in dead last. He had basically given up. We had, many of us had over, 200 coins. He, gambled them all, gave them all to another player. And so then he was basically gave up. He did not have any hope. And that's when he was close to a star. So he ended up getting to the star, and it was all good and dandy, and it was cool. And then he ended up doing it so that he could steal a star on the turn because he had so many coins still, because he ended up giving away a lot of his coins, but not as much as the other person had. So he still had 70 coins left. So he was able to buy a star for 70 coins. He was able to buy a star for 20 coins. And then he ended up getting somebody else's star with the boo, stealing the star for 50 coins. So at that point he's basically at 0 coins, 2 stars. This is all in one turn. And then he ends up, getting on a blue space. And blue spaces, they have a very small chance. I don't know what the statistics are, but they can spawn a hidden block, which either give you some amount of coins or a star. And I was like, okay, whatever, that's fine. He lands on it, a hidden block spawns, and we're all like, it'd be funny if he ended up, getting a star from that. And we were like, haha, yeah, that's a funny joke. And so then he ends up, getting to that hidden block. We're all like, yeah, that'd be funny. But, none of us expect it. He's just gonna get coins. It's fine. And so he went up to that hidden block. He hit it. We all don't expect anything. And then what do you know? He gets a star. Like, what? That's literally not the least we expected. We did not expect him to get a star. We thought he was just gonna get 2 stars. Now, all of us have 2 stars, and I used to have 2 stars, but he ended up stealing one from me, which is like, what even is that? I don't even know. And so he just, in the span of 1 turn, he gets 3 stars, steals one from me, and the reason he stole it from me was because the new star that had spawned was. So really, moral of the story is Mario Party is not entirely about luck, but it is certainly certainly has its key moments for sure. I mean, I don't know, it was pretty crazy, pretty wild. I mean, I don't know, it was just, there's a lot going on, and you know what happened was, you know, there was some skill involved because he had the option to actually be able to not go through all of what happened. He ended up actually, he had a custom dice block, and so he had the choice of where he wanted to go, what space to land on, how far to go, and so he had a lot of choice in that matter. And you know, I would say that a lot of it was skill because he was actually memeing about, instead of stealing a star, that he would go out and, you know, just land on a Bowser space because it's funny. And I was kind of trying to encourage him to do that because I didn't want him to steal a star, because after I saw, you know, I didn't know the new star was going to spawn near me. So I didn't know he was going to try to steal a star from me. So I was like trying to be funny too, and I was like, no, you want to play it smart, you want to get a star. And so I accidentally, you know, ended up having him, I probably contributed some to me losing my star because, you know, I was just memeing around too, because I didn't think he was actually going to get anything. And so, you know, there was certainly some skill. You know, I will give him that. And, you know, it was certainly an experience. It was just, I don't know, it was a lot more than I expected to have happened, because there was just a lot going on, a lot more than I would have wanted to happen. Again, I wouldn't say it's luck-based, but certainly the fact that he happened to get onto the hidden block that gave him a star was certainly no easy feat, for sure, but overall, I'd say, yeah, the Mario Party, it was pretty fun, it was pretty decent. Now, you may have noticed that earlier, a couple levels ago, it did pause when I got an SMB2 mushroom. That is technically a hint. It's not super clear what the hint is yet, but that is a hint so far. I mean, I don't know, there hasn't been a lot of stuff to go off of, so maybe I might modify the challenge if, like, it never changes, or maybe I'll give more hints, because otherwise it could be rather unfair, because, you know, if you don't have anything to go off of, then it's not really fair for you guys, so we'll see how it goes. But so far, your biggest hint is the fact that it paused when I got an SMB2 mushroom. And so, I mean, yeah, it only happens in some cases, it's certainly not all-inclusive, but, you know, we'll just see how this goes in the next one. Recently, I got into playing also Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, which, I mean, I know it's been out on the Switch for quite a while, but, I mean, I've gotten into it a little bit more, just because it's pretty interesting, and, I mean, overall, the Paper Mario games, I haven't played very many. I've literally only played Origami King and this one now, so I've obviously heard that, I've obviously heard that Origami King, the Sticker Star one, I've heard that all of those are better than these. Of course I didn't finish, but, you know, I've heard that those are a little better, and I don't know, it's certainly interesting because, I don't know, maybe my standards are just low, but I like the Paper Marios I've played so far. I haven't played Sticker Star or Color Splash, because I've heard those are the worst, but still, I don't know. I haven't played very much of Thousand Year Door yet, but I can say something I do like that they did, that they seem to have, removed in earlier games, in later games, was actually the fact that they have, like, pretty unique characters, like how there's a whole bunch of unique characters that exist. I mean, there was some of that in Origami King, for sure, but they were all, like, still pretty standard and overall, so, I mean, I don't know, I can appreciate that there's a lot of unique characters that are not just some cookie-cutter, regular Toads or whatever. Obviously, like, some things are just gonna happen, but I don't know, overall, I'm pretty happy with how Thousand Year Door has overall went so far. I've only played, like, the beginner levels and gotten through the beginner stuff, but I haven't really done that much so far. But overall, it's pretty fun. But again, like, I still really enjoyed that Origami King, and I feel like I probably would enjoy Color Splash and Sticker Star, even though maybe they aren't, like, ideal. Just, like, I don't know, like, I enjoyed the other Mario Party games, like the ones for the Switch that were not as good, maybe, but they were still fun. I still had a lot of fun doing them, so I don't know. I just think that I don't know, maybe my standards are just lower than the average person, and I just don't, maybe I just don't appreciate things as well, or maybe I don't know. Overall, I just like how they've went so far, and I just think that overall they're pretty fun. From here, we are going to migrate from the multiplayer versus level into some regular levels that you find just on the server, because I think it's kind of hard. It's kind of like a coin flip of whether or not we'll find one that matches the condition, and just to make it a little easier for you guys to actually figure it out. I'm going to switch to some others that I think might be good, and we'll see from there. I'm going to regret this, but we are going to play a refresh level, and so just keep careful notes of where it's going to pause and play. Again, this is not going to be good, but we'll see how it goes. Refresh levels are definitely one of those levels that are just not the most fun for sure. Those heads, like there's no guarantee these levels are going to be even good, but you know, we'll see. This is what I'm talking about. There's just absolute craziness. I need that. I do believe this just is the regular. This is just the template level that appears on the screen. You know, we haven't gotten a good template level in a while, so, you know, clearly the template levels just needed more love, you know. If they haven't been made enough in the past, you know, 5 years that this game has been out, then, you know, what are we even doing? I mean, the template levels are there for a reason. That's what we should base all of our levels on. That's why we should just make the levels the template levels. And that's like 100% Mario Maker right there. Now, when it comes to getting this condition right, like if you guess in the comments, I will either like tell you if it's either like wrong or if you're close. You know, I'll make sure that you know, so you're not just completely in the dark, because I do want it to be fun to try to guess it. And so I will try to make it as clear as possible whether or not you have gotten it. And also, like, if you're close, and the first person to get it. Now, since we are getting later into the challenge, I will give a hint in case you haven't gotten it yet. And in case, like, I mean, now, in case you didn't notice what happened there, of, like, when it actually, you know, stopped. So, yeah, the hint is that it has to do with the Super Mario Bros. 1 theme. That's all I'm going to give you right now. And so, you know, if you have guessed it, then, you know, that's great. Unfortunately, they did set the goal right below this line, so I can't actually get to it from here. If I had the frog suit, I could, but I tried to cheese the level. It's whatever. We are going to exit because this level is not very good. And this will be the last level here. I apologize if this isn't super easy to tell what the condition is. I'm trying to make it pretty clear. I am trying to make it pretty clear what's happening here, but again, apologies if it's not as clear as I think it is. You know, I'm always looking for feedback if you think this could be done a little better of a way, but you know, I feel like there's some decent hints. Alright, we are now at the end here, and so, the person who either gets it, or if it's been a while and nobody really gets it because I'm just bad at giving clues and being good at the challenge, then I'll just do the one who gets closest and they'll get pinned. So, you know, good luck and try to figure it out. And have a great day, guys.